Hey y'all, I'm here. Sorry that I'm late today, little late today, but I'm here. Let's do this. My name is Bess Parks. I am the co-creator and the co-founder of the Single Moms Club and hashtag Single Moms Level Up. It's not really hashtag, but I just like saying that. But hashtag Single Moms Level Up. This is streaming live through into the Single Moms private Facebook group, and then also on the YouTube page, Single Moms Level Up. Something I wanted to do today was to thank some people for their contributions and watching this challenge live or in replays. And I appreciate y'all putting in there, hashtag replay or rewatch. I appreciate that. So then I know that you guys are watching, either live or replay. And I see that for, through Facebook. YouTube, I don't really see that as much. Um, but on the Facebook, the private Facebook page, I do see that. Today is day four of the Single Moms Fear to Freedom Challenge. Like I said, I wanted to thank some people. I wanted to thank Rebecca Tay, Kanisha Hughes, Yenny Ferreras, LaAngela Godfirst, Funke Jumi Agundre. I hope I didn't mess that up as bad as it sounded. I want to thank Chantel Pearson, Nicole, Tiffany, Adiola. I want to thank you guys because you are coming up as top contributors to watching and commenting during this challenge. One of the things that I do is I appreciate people doing that and letting me know that the content is helping you, or you relate to it, or it connects to you in some kind of way. I really appreciate that. What I do is, for the single mom that contributes the most, that comes up as a top contributor, I give away a Single Mom Queen Kit, which is filled with some self-care things and then some self-love. Self-love. It has a journal in it. I did it a couple days ago. I told you everything that was in that. And sometimes I get carried away and I put a lot of stuff in that box and it's packed to the max. But a lot of times it's just some really good stuff in there. Thank you guys for watching replays, for watching live. And let's get into the topic today. So the topic today is how to know what is real. How to know what is real. And we're talking about fear. And so we talked about the F in fear, which is the false things. The false things that we're holding on to, the false things that people are telling us, the false things that we're hearing in our ears, the false things that we're seeing, and that we're taking all of this in, and it affects our mind, and then how we think about ourselves, how we think about whatever the situation is that we're going in, or circumstance that we're in, that we're fearful about. That all comes from, a lot of times, outward things, but then it goes into our mind, and that's where it really affects us, because what we think is how we react. It's how we respond. It's how we feel as if we could do something or can't do something. It all starts with our mind. So we talked about that, and then we talked about the E. Where's the evidence in fear? And a lot of times when you really break it down, there is no evidence for why you should be afraid of this situation, this circumstance, this person, or whatever this person is saying. But there are some times when there is evidence. And if there's evidence that you should be afraid of somebody, and that they don't care about the police, and that they don't care about this or that, you need to run. You need to run. You need to take cover. You need to do what you got to do to keep yourself safe, keep your children safe. That's the part right there that tells you whether this is a life-threatening situation or if it's something that that is false, that's just coming up and making itself appear like it's something that you should be afraid of or that should cause you some type of fear. um, and then we talked about the A, which was the appearance of things, and fear being in your life shows up in your body. It shows up in your body. It shows up in your skin. It shows up in your behavior, and all of that shows up because the fear is in your mind, and it's a battle that's happening in your mind. Thoughts that are coming to your mind that a lot of times are false. It's false things. It's something that is sometimes it's of things that you just don't know how it's going to turn out. And so that's still false because you don't know how it's going to turn out. You don't know how it's going to turn out, so why not, attempt to try it? And that's me talking to myself right there, because there's something that I learned how to do and was excited about. But then when it came down to me actually doing it, I got very nervous. Well, I actually did it, and then had one bad experience with it and was like, oh my gosh, I don't know if I could do this, and because I convinced myself and said that out of my mouth, my ears heard it, and now it's stuck in my head. Then it gets stuck in your head, gets put on repeat in your mind, because the battle is really in our minds as to what fear is. Fear is, it's a battle that goes on in your mind between the thoughts that you can do something, or the good thoughts that you can do, and thoughts that are just false. They're just false things that need to be thrown out. But we have to address them in order to do that. And a lot of times that happens through journaling, that happens through talking to a counselor, that happens through however you need to address these things. So that's part of self-love. And self-love is something that we need to check on a weekly basis. We talked about that yesterday. And check in with ourselves and say, hey, am I okay? Are you good? Get in that mirror and ask yourself, are you good? Are you okay? Are you feeling some type of way? Ask yourself that. Am I good today? Oh no, I'm feeling a little some kind of way, or you feeling that little something right here? The other day I had to check my own self because I was exhausted, like really exhausted. And so I had to check in with myself and say, what's going on with you? Why are you having to reach for coffee and this and that and vitamins and blah blah blah, so intently uh, to function? And for me, I know if I'm doing that too much, something's going on, and I need to back off of it and figure out what's going on with me. And so it came down to the fact that I was exhausted. I had a family emergency that happened Friday after I got home from work. And so, needless to say, I went for 24 hours without sleeping, because I had a family emergency that I had to attend to. Ended up having to take one of my children to the emergency room. We ended up at the hospital, and it was all I because I get up early in the morning, and I happened to get up early that morning. I actually went a whole 24 hours being awake. Of course, when you're kids and there's something going on with your child, you're completely alert. Your adrenaline's going, especially if it's an emergency situation. Your adrenaline's going. You're trying to pay attention. You're trying to be present and be there for your child, and trying not to show to them that you're scared or anything, and be brave for them, and to hold their hand and make sure they're okay. And it's a lot. And then I hosted a baby shower on Sunday. And so Saturday I went to try to go to work, and I wasn't functioning at all. I stayed for maybe 45 minutes. I said, I gotta go take care of some stuff right now. And I had to come home and take care of some business that was pressing, and was also an emergency situation. And so it was just all weekend. I was just been going, and then went to work on Monday, and then by Tuesday I was just I wasn't I just wasn't. and I had to check with myself and make myself stay in bed. I'm one of those people, especially in the summertime. If it's light outside and the sun comes out and I see a glow behind the curtains like this, and I see a glow behind the curtains, I'm up. I'm just like, you know, and I'm ready to go. So what's real? What is real? We have to figure out what's real in in our lives when fear comes up. Is this real fear? Is this something that's life threatening? Is this something that I really need to protect myself and do something of that? Or is this fear that just is coming from something that somebody else said, something that I've said about myself, or that I've said, something that has happened in the past that's reminding me of a similar situation that's making me feel fearful of the present situation. We need to figure out where that fear is coming from. And it sounds like it's a super long process, but once you learn how to do that, once we learn how to do that, it actually happens pretty quickly. And if we do it on a regular basis, it'll happen pretty quickly, especially when we realize, wait a minute, I'm feeling some fear right here. Why am I feeling this fear? And you go through these questions of asking yourself, why am I feeling this fear? Where did it come from? Um, who's it coming from? And and what can I do about it? you know what can I do about it? And and then if it's a fear that you need to protect yourself, how can I remove myself from the situation? Ask yourself those questions: who, what, where, why. All that: who, what, where, why, how. Ask yourself all those questions when fear comes up. And if some of those answers um are telling you that, hey, this is not life threatening, this came from, remember back when such and such and this and that happened, well, you're bringing it up into this current situation. And then you have to start weighing, is this situation exactly the same, or is it just triggering a bad experience, and I'm now fearful of this experience because of something that happened in the past. And it may be that we need to just let whatever it was in the past go and realize that these two situations have nothing to do with each other. So we have to figure out what's real. What is real? And that, a lot of times, once we figure out what's real, then that fear goes away. What's the real reason why I'm doing this? What are my intentions? What is the intention of the other person that might be causing me fear? What is the intention of the situation that's happening that might be causing me fear? Look for the intention. What is the intention? And I was listening to something on the way home from work, and uh, it was interesting because it talked about some of the things that we talk about here in the Single Moms Club. And it talked about, and also on Single Moms Level Up on Instagram. And it talked, the speaker was talking about Cindy Trim, Dr. Cindy Trim, and she was talking about intention and living intentionally. And that if you don't give your mind an intention, that it can just run amok, and all these things can come up that block what you're trying to do because you haven't given your mind an assignment. Our minds are very intellectual. They're very functional. They're very high working organs. They're very on the high on the intelligence, highly intellectual. And if we don't give them something to do, then they grasp on to all kinds of things in our lives, whether it's a fleeting thing, a commercial, it's a something on Instagram, it's this, it's that, and then it runs off with that because we don't have any intentions for our mind. So she talked about setting goals, about setting the course of action, not just setting goals, but actually working towards those goals. So she basically talked about courses of action. And I was like, man, this is just like such confirmation from somebody that's done a way more study than I have. And I was like, this is confirmation that we should be talking about these things here, especially in the Single Moms Club. It wasn't a Single Moms resource or anything like that. It was just something that I was listening to on the way home from work. So I've gotten to a point now that I hardly listen to the radio. I'm usually listening to something that is going to stimulate my mind, something that's going to help me with my self care and my self education, something that may help me just relax or think or accomplish some of my goals. Because there's we say we don't have enough time in our day, but we do. And I've realized that I was wasting time by just going to work, listening to music, and just da, 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 listening to music, and not using that time to listen to some podcasts and stuff like that, podcasts and YouTube and whatever else, to accomplish the goals that I have in the 5 areas of my life. So I started doing that when I started working my new job. So the things that are real and how to know if it's real, I told you, was to ask yourself those 5 questions. So those 5 questions will give us guidance on which way we should go, and how give us wisdom and make it a proper decision on if this is truly fear that is something that's causing us. If this is something that's causing us or going to cause us harm. I just realized I didn't sign on to make sure that you guys could see me. Yes, and if this is something that's causing us and also so that I can see the comments. At least on Facebook. But anyway, I don't have enough devices to see if I could see to have another something up here to watch YouTube at the same time. So anyway, but so this is day 4, and we want to know what is real. And so this is the last letter in fear, and so this is the last thing that will help us to recognize what kind of fear this is. I have not done extensive study on this, but I've just come across some things in my life that I either realize this is real fear, or I realized those things, and I started asking who, what, where, when. And then recently I've been doing that too in some things that I was just really unsure, and really was just fear of the unknown is what I was worried about. And fear of the unknown was what I was worried about. So one of the things that like last year, when I was gonna go home, to California for my birthday, and I was fearful because a friend of mine, told me that she wasn't comfortable with me being at her house because I'm not vaccinated. And I'm not vaccinated because I have allergies, really bad allergies. And so I can't allow something to be in my body that has not been completely tested on humans. We're being the test subjects at the time because they don't know for sure. There's no way in no way that it's possible to say that it's okay if they haven't tested it on humans, other than the fact that they're testing it on us now. But anyway, besides the point, she wasn't comfortable with that, and she told me she was going to think about it, and she'd let me know. So it got all the way up to me, leaving to California from Texas, not knowing where I was going to stay for the night. I didn't have a place to stay. And I had actually booked an Airbnb, and for some reason that Airbnb didn't go through. And so I'm trying to look for a place to stay, and it was actually really hard to find an Airbnb the day that I'm there. That was crazy. The only ones that were available were so far out and away from where I wanted to be to visit with everybody, that I was like, I'm not gonna go stay way out there and then have to get someplace else, and I don't even have a car, you know. I did, the guy I'm dating actually lives in California, so he was really sweet with me and very loving, and drove me to wherever I wanted to go and made sure I got to where I wanted to go. It all worked out. She ended up let me stay with her, and because I think I can't even tell you what it was, but I think she realized that the fear that she was feeling, she knew that I would not put her in danger um, in that way. We've known each other since junior high, so basically we are family, because we've known each other for well over 30 years. And so I don't know what it was, but it was a fear that I had. It was a fear that she had. We both kind of broke it down, and then just went ahead and just went for it, and everything was fine. Everything was fine. Everything worked out fine. Even towards the end, when I was supposed to come home from California, the flights were tweaking out. That was like the first experience of the flights being canceled and all that stuff. And I was way in California, and again, but this time I wasn't afraid. I wasn't afraid. I was like, you know what? I prayed about it, and I was like, God, you're gonna have to help me get home. I got to be at work. And I was like, I just got this job. I was like, it's amazing that they even let me, go on vacation 4 months after I just got the job. But it was something I already had planned, and I told them, and they let me go. So for a week, and on top of that, so what was awesome about that whole trip, and what made me realize that there was fear and I had to face fear, was I had to call her. I just called her and said, "Hey, did you?" And we had a conversation, and she said, "Girl, just come on, we're gonna figure it out." And I was like, "Good," because this, that, whatever. I couldn't find an Airbnb, but it all ended up working out really well. I was able to talk with some other single moms. I'm gonna post a picture. I'm gonna post a picture for tomorrow's session. I'm gonna put the picture on there of us at this at the restaurant, and it's called Castaways. And I was like, we're not castaways. It was interesting that we went to Castaways in Burbank, California, up on the hill, and we went there for brunch. And I didn't realize it until I got home. I was like, hey, we're all single. We were all single moms. All of us in that group were single moms. One of us is married now, but for a very long time, for a good 19 years, I think. Um, Maybe 19 years, but a huge spans of time. Because I think by the time she got married to her husband, um, yeah, I think by the time she got married to her husband, her son was he was in high school. So, you know, uh, she, for a very long time, she was single as well. But I was like, wow, these are all single moms. And getting together like that, I was telling them about the things that I was going through with my teenage daughter at the time. And they're like, oh, girl, yeah, I went through that, And then I found out that I wasn't alone. And I was like, man, I hadn't been talking to anybody. I was just kind of stressed out and just going through by myself. And then I realized what was real is that I'm not alone. And you're not alone either. You're not alone. We are not alone, single moms. We're not alone in this, because there's other single moms that either have gone through it already, and can help us to navigate that. And they started telling me, and everybody was sharing their experiences and stuff, and just hearing that other people had gone through that, um, uh, relieved a pressure off of me, and let me know that it wasn't me. It wasn't something I did, and why this was happening, and everything. I came to the realization that it's part of the process of life, and a part of the process is being a teenager and being defiant and whatever else that comes with being a teenager, because we're trying to express and it, express and gain our freedom to make our own decisions, even though we're not totally educated, to make our own decisions. But we do have to come to some common ground, and keep moving forward. And then, by the time they turn 18, then they can do those things on their own. But still, with you in the background, willing to help whenever they need it, which is what we do as parents. So we need to figure out what's real. And what's real is that you're not alone, single mom. And that's one of the biggest fears of being a single mom, is that we feel like we are alone. You're not alone. You are not alone. You are not alone. You are not alone. Don't know why I needed to say it that many times, but you are not alone. And I wanted to say that you are not alone. So, something I wanted to offer to you, single moms, is this: there is a single moms academy that I have, that I'm about to open up, that was going to have a live event this year, but we're going to have to push it to next year because I am expecting my first grandchild. And so that changed plans. So we're going to have the live event next year. But and let me tell you, this is not for everybody. This is only for the people that need to have a little bit more communication, a little bit more time for us to meet with each other, that need more time for us to meet with each other so that we can do what we do and walk through some of these things a little bit more and go deeper into them, and walking through some of the challenges that we approach, because it will be a deeper dive. It definitely will be a deeper dive into the challenges that we go to. I can only, give you guys so much information when we've, when we're only delegated to 30 minutes for 5 days. So when you're part of the Single Moms Club, there'll be weekly single mom chats, and I'm about to share my screen so that I can show you, so you could see all the things that that are available through the Single Moms Academy. So through the Single Moms Academy, these are the things that will be available to you. So I'm going to put these up on the screen and make it bigger so that you could see everything. So the Single Moms Academy is a membership. It's a 12-month long membership. My throat got really dry. It's a 12-month long membership. You'll get unlimited access to webinar replays. You'll get unlimited access to the challenge replays. And so, mind you, the challenge replays, this is a challenge. Challenges come and go in life. And just like that, just like challenges come and go in life, these challenges that are offered come and go as well. So they get archived, and then they're now going to be used in the Single Moms membership, and you'll be able to replay them whenever you need that resource. And so because you may not need it now, but something might come up later on in life, be like, wait a minute, we talked about that. There was a Single Moms Challenge, and you'll be able to go back and look at that resource. So there'll also be self-education resources that you'll have access to. A whole entire library of books that you'll have access to, that we use during the challenges and also during the webinars. And then, like I said, there'll be weekly single mom talk sessions, the Single Mom Talk. And then you'll get first notice of swag products, and first notice of what's in the new Single Mom Queen Kit. So you'll get an opportunity to purchase things from the Single Mom Queen Kit before it goes into a challenge where it's being given away. And then after the giveaway, then the box is actually being sold to the open public. So you're getting first notice of that. And then you'll get one ticket to I'm sorry, I hit my mouse. You'll get one ticket to a live single mom conference, which we're going to put on next year. And it's going to start out being, it depends on how things are going in the world, on if it's going to be live or if it's going to be, virtual. Or actually, it may end up being a hybrid. We are going to figure that out shortly on how that's going to be. It probably end up being a hybrid, so that some of the single moms that can't actually physically come here to Texas, and yes, I said come here to Texas, and experience the live event, then you can watch virtually and participate in that way. There's payment plans available. You can go to www.bparksdesignllc.com and see if this is something that you want to participate in. I understand that this is not for everybody. Not everybody's interested in having being a part of a membership, or you don't need the extra support, and you got this, and there's some single moms that do, you're good, and that's understandable. It's okay. There's no pressure for you to join that, but I just wanted to put that out there, that if you wanted to sign up for the Single Moms Academy, there is a resource for us to have some place to go on a weekly basis. We'll come on a weekly basis. We will all join in on the challenge, of course. So the week of the challenge, we won't have the live chat, and it'll be done like in a Zoom room. So we'll see everybody's faces and everything. And, if you got your baby, that you got to hold your baby with you, that's cool. We'll just do what we need to do as single moms, from the comfort of our home, and not have to actually go and find a babysitter and all that stuff, while we do this on a weekly basis. And then we'll attend the challenges together, and invite friends, and we'll be able to become the village that we need. Some of us single moms don't have a village, and so this can become your village. And through this Single Moms Academy membership, 12-month membership, that will help us to become closer, because we will put a face to each other, and then we'll be able to see each other and have conversations and all of that through that the Single Moms Academy, which is just another way of us becoming closer, as a village, helping each other to succeed, helping each other to better ourselves, helping each other and the ways that single moms need from other single moms that know what you're going through. You know what I'm saying? So anyway, that is the end of our session today. Tomorrow, we'll talk a little bit more. Tomorrow we're going to talk about the freedom, because we're there now. Now that we've addressed all these things, we addressed the F, we addressed the E, we addressed the A, we addressed the R. Now we're to the freedom. Where does that freedom from fear, where does that take us? Where does that take us? And what do we get to experience when we have that freedom from fear? We're going to talk about it tomorrow, y'all. We're going to talk about it. We're going to talk about it. And most of the time, when that fear goes away, finances. It releases finances when that fear goes away. I'm just saying, we're going to talk about it tomorrow, because that's where the freedom comes from, is when we have the freedom to do what we want to do when we want to do it, because our finances are right, because we've gotten rid of the fear of not having enough, the fear of running out, the fear of just fear itself, of just the money, and how to handle it, and how to where to tell it to go, and all that stuff, and just the fear and the misunderstanding of what we think about money and how we use it. So we'll talk about that tomorrow. Much love, you guys. Hashtag Single Moms Level Up, and we are out. Bye. Have a good night, y'all. Good morning, good afternoon.